Stop scrolling right now and listen to my voice. Yes, I am speaking directly to you in this exact moment. You did not find this message by accident. The hand of heaven has positioned you here because a divine alert has been declared over your life. My beloved child, pause for just a moment and quiet your weary mind. What I am about to tell you will change the direction of your path forever. You have been searching for answers for months. You look around and you see closed doors and endless delays. You wonder why your hard work yields so little fruit. And while you struggle to understand your lack, you have completely missed the hidden mechanism that operates inside your life every single day. This message is about your mouth. The very words that leave your lips when no one else is listening are quietly shaping your reality. Stop calling your silent despair peace. Stop convincing yourself that a bruised heart is your fate. You think you are fine because you carry your responsibilities without complaint. But every single word you speak carries a spiritual frequency that echoes throughout the heavenly realm. You pray for overflow with your hands lifted high in worship. Yet you whisper words of lack and defeat as soon as you step back into the dark hours of the night. I see the hidden cracks in your soul. I see how you carry heavy burdens without showing your pain to those around you. You smile for the world while your spirit feels completely exhausted inside. And because you are tired, your tongue has slowly become a weapon used against your own royal inheritance. The enemy does not need to destroy you if he can trick you into speaking your own defeat. You carry royal blood in your spiritual veins. You were never created to walk through this world begging for crumbs at secular tables. Before your mother even knew you were growing inside her, I placed an extraordinary authority deep within your living temple. Yet you continue to use your mouth to validate your current lack. You talk about your overwhelming problems far more than you speak my eternal promises. A major shift is now unfolding in your path. Within the next 72 hours, an ancient cycle of struggle is set to break in your household. Something massive has been forming quietly behind the spiritual curtain for your family. But you stand at a dangerous intersection today. If you continue to let your mouth align with your temporary pain, you will miss the very window of opportunity I have opened for you. I am breaking this long silence today because I love you too much to watch you bleed in secret. Your silent tears have been weighed in the sovereign courts of heaven. Your quiet sighs have been recorded in my book of remembrance. Now is the time for you to wake up from this spiritual trance. You must give my living words your absolute attention for these next few moments. Do not treat this divine encounter lightly as just another video on your digital screen. The enemy knows the power of this specific revelation, and he will throw distractions at you right now to make you click away. He wants you to remain blind to the creative power of your own voice. But you are the chosen chain breaker of your entire bloodline. Your ancestral lineage has carried the heavy chains of poverty and silent struggle for 3 generations. Your family members have spoken words of limitation over their own lives for decades. They accepted lack as their normal way of living on this earth. And because they did not know their authority, they passed those spiritual locks down to you. But I have set you apart to be the one who finally screams enough to that curse. Look past the temporary emptiness of your hands right now and focus on the eternal weight of my promise. The physical world you see around you is completely subject to the supreme decree of heaven. When you align your mouth with my living word, mountains must move and closed doors must yield. Your tongue was created to be a rod of royal authority on this earth. You may feel weak and uncertain in this hour. Your body may be tired and your mind may be foggy from endless daily stress. But my power reaches its absolute perfection inside your human weakness. I am not asking you to rely on your own physical strength today. I am asking you to surrender your tongue to my divine order so I can fill your mouth with fire. Stay still and listen with your whole heart. The boundary between your current lack and your royal destiny is collapsing right now. If your spirit recognizes my sovereign voice, do not turn away from this holy altar. Give me your full attention as I reveal the hidden mechanism of your lips and prepare to reclaim your stolen inheritance. I was there with you in the quiet darkness of your bedroom last night. The house was completely still and everyone else was sleeping peacefully. But you were lying awake with your eyes fixed on the ceiling while a heavy weight pressed down on your chest. You turned from side to side looking for comfort. And as the clock reached 2 in the morning, a familiar wave of anxiety flooded your soul once again. You tried to take a deep breath. Your throat felt tight. The silence felt overwhelming. You placed a hand over your heart because you could feel it racing for no clear reason. And in that hidden moment when you thought no one could hear you, you let out a long sigh that carried years of silent exhaustion. I heard that sigh. I recorded every drop of pain attached to it. You carry a secret burden. You hide it well from the people around you every day. When your friends ask how you are doing, you put on a warm smile and tell them that you are fine. You push through your daily tasks with endurance. But behind that carefully constructed mask sits a soul that is deeply bruised and desperate for relief. I saw you when you retreated into the shower earlier this week. You turned the warm water on high so it would drown out the sound of your weeping. You buried your face in your hands while the water rolled down your back. And as you leaned against the cold wall of the bathroom, you allowed those heavy tears to fall without any fear of judgment. You do not have to hide those tears from me. You think you are strong because you carry your responsibilities without complaining. You believe that silent endurance is the ultimate proof of spiritual maturity. But there is a massive difference between genuine peace and emotional numbness. You have called your numbness peace for far too long. You have trained yourself to shut down your heart just to survive another day. Let us be completely honest tonight. In the darkest hours of your solitude, your tongue speaks a very different language than your Sunday worship. When you sit alone in your car after work, you lean your head back against the seat. You whisper words that you would never dare to speak out loud in front of your congregation. You whisper that you are completely exhausted. You whisper that nothing ever changes for you no matter how hard you pray. You look at your unpaid bills and your declining bank account while the darkness surrounds you. You whisper that your life is stuck in a permanent loop of struggle. And because you feel so deeply forgotten, you allow those words of despair to settle into the atmosphere of your home. Those midnight whispers are not harmless. You believe that those quiet words spoken in pain simply vanish into the night air. But every single word that leaves your mouth carries creative spiritual power. When you whisper that you cannot make it, you are signing a legal permission slip for lack to remain in your house. You are unwittingly agreeing with the enemy. I see how hard you have tried to stay faithful. I know you love me with your whole heart and you want to walk in my light every day. But your physical vessel is weary from fighting endless battles. When your mind becomes exhausted, your guard drops, and your mouth begins to leak words of defeat. That is why your breakthrough seems to stall right when you get close. You pray with passion for an hour in the morning and ask for my divine favor over your family. But then you spend the remaining 23 hours of the day validating your current lack with your tongue. You speak about how difficult the economy is. You talk about how unfair your situation has been. You recite your problems with absolute precision while barely mentioning my promises. This is the hidden leak that has been draining your spiritual energy. You build a fortress of faith with your prayers while simultaneously tearing it down with your casual complaints. You do not do this out of rebellion. You do it simply because your bruised heart is overflowing with unprocessed pain that has nowhere else to go. I am not telling you this to condemn you. I am not standing over you with a finger of judgment tonight. My heart breaks when I see you weeping alone in the dark hours of the morning. I am pointing out this secret mechanism because I want to heal the very root of your suffering. I want to rescue you from this cycle before it consumes your future. Your mouth was never meant to be a grave for your dreams. Your tongue was never given to you so you could catalog your earthly disappointments. When you speak words of hopelessness in the dark, you align your royal voice with the frequency of the wilderness. You let the temporary dust of this world cover the brilliant crown I placed on your head. Listen to me very carefully in this sacred moment. Every tear you cried into your pillow has been gathered in my heavenly bottle. Every silent sob that shook your shoulders during those long nights has been weighed in my sovereign presence. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned to the mercy of chance or cruel circumstance. The time has come for you to take off that heavy mask of self-sufficiency. You do not have to perform for me or pretend that your soul is untouched by pain. Bring me your raw and exhausted pieces right now. Bring me those bitter words that you whispered in the dark and let my living fire consume them completely. Your healing begins the very second you bring your truth into my light. Let us look deeper into the hidden habits of your daily speech tonight. You often make casual statements about your future without thinking twice about their weight. And when those negative words leave your lips in front of others, you quickly laugh it off and say that you were only joking, or you sigh deeply and defend yourself by claiming that you were simply stating physical facts. But I see the subtle deception that hides behind those convenient masks every single time you speak. You call your negative declarations simple realism. You say that you are just being honest about your declining bank account or your broken body. But there is a massive difference between observing a temporary physical fact and establishing it as your permanent spiritual reality. When you constantly repeat how broke or sick you are, you elevate earthly circumstances above my eternal promises. You allow temporary earthly facts to override the sovereign truth of my word over your life. You think that humor neutralizes the spiritual impact of your tongue. You joke with your friends about never getting ahead or being cursed with bad luck wherever you go. But the spiritual realm does not classify your words by your intention to be funny or serious. Spoken words are living seeds planted directly into the rich soil of your future. Every single time you joke about your own failure, you cultivate a bitter harvest of lack with your own hands. Now listen very carefully to what I am about to expose right now. Heaven has approved major breakthroughs for you multiple times in your journey. I signed decrees of financial expansion and emotional healing over your family lineage. My angels were dispatched with the exact resources you spent years crying for in prayer. But just as those blessings reached the threshold of your physical world, your mouth canceled the delivery before it could land in your house. You prayed fervently on Sunday morning for a new open door in your career. Heaven heard your cry and set the entire machinery of divine favor into motion for your name. But by Tuesday afternoon, after facing one small obstacle, you threw your hands up in frustration. You told a friend that good things never last for you and that nothing ever works out in your life. That single sentence of doubt erected a wall that blocked the blessing from reaching your hands. Your tongue is the primary gatekeeper of your earthly experience. What my sovereign hand releases in heaven must be welcomed and declared by your faith on earth. When you speak words of defeat, you lock the gate from the inside against your own prosperity. You leave heaven waiting with full storehouses while you sit in poverty complaining that I have abandoned you. You have been warring against the very answers to your own prayers without realizing it. Stop right now and reflect on the words you spoke over your life this past week. Think about the casual complaints you tossed into the air while driving or cooking at home. How many times did you say that you were sick and tired of trying, or that you would never recover? Those were not harmless thoughts passing through your mind. Those were legal declarations that the enemy used to maintain his tight grip on your progress. You must realize that the spiritual world takes your spoken words with absolute seriousness. Satan cannot read your private thoughts, but he listens continuously to the confession of your mouth. When he hears you validate your weakness, he uses your own words as legal ammunition against your destiny. He does not need to forge a new weapon when you supply him with the exact sword to pierce your own heart every single day. You have excused these habits by telling yourself that everyone talks this way. You look at the world around you and you copy their patterns of complaining and anxiety. But you were not called to conform to the hopeless language of a dying world. You are a royal child set apart to speak the light of heaven into dark places. When you adopt the speech of the wilderness, you surrender the unique authority that belongs to your royal position. It is time for you to strip away these dangerous masks once and for all. You can no longer afford the luxury of careless speech or sarcastic self-pity. You carry royal blood in your spiritual veins, and your words possess the power to build or dismantle realities. If you want to see the storehouses of heaven open over your family, you must immediately align your tongue with my living truth. Let us cleanse your altar today so your spoken words release your harvest. Now let me open your spiritual eyes to the eternal laws that govern the power of your speech. You must understand that your tongue does not merely describe your world. Your tongue actually creates the world you live in every single day. When I formed the universe in the beginning, I did not use physical hands or complex tools to shape the earth. I simply opened my mouth and spoke into the dark void. I declared light into existence, and light immediately shattered the ancient darkness. I spoke order into the chaos, and the oceans retreated to their appointed boundaries. Every star that shines in the night sky, and every mountain that rises above the clouds exists because a spoken decree was released into the atmosphere. And because you are created in my divine image, your mouth carries that very same creative DNA. When you speak, you are sowing invisible seeds into the spiritual soil of your destiny. If you sow seeds of bitterness and lack, you will inevitably reap a harvest of poverty and frustration. But when you align your speech with my living promises, you plant seeds of divine favor and supernatural overflow. You cannot sow thorns with your mouth all week and expect to gather sweet fruit on your table. Think of the ancient patriarchs who walked with me throughout the sacred scriptures. They understood the legal authority of the spoken blessing over their households. When Isaac laid his hands on his son and spoke the blessing of heaven over his future, those words could never be revoked. The spoken blessing carried an irrevocable spiritual power that reshaped Jacob's lineage for generations to come. When Moses stood before the roaring Red Sea with a terrifying army behind him, the people panicked and began to cry out in fear. But Moses lifted his voice and declared the salvation of the sovereign God before the waters even moved. His spoken decree of faith parted the deep sea and created a dry pathway straight through the impossible obstacle. His voice activated the miraculous power of heaven. Look at how Elijah stood on Mount Carmel before an entire nation that had lost its way. He did not engage in long debates or human arguments with his enemies. He simply built an altar and spoke a confident prayer of faith into the open sky. Fire immediately fell from heaven to consume the sacrifice and prove my sovereign power to everyone present. One spoken decree of faith altered the spiritual destiny of a nation. You carry that exact same royal authority inside your living temple today. Your tongue is not a useless organ designed only to taste food or express earthly complaints. Your tongue is a divine instrument given to you to paint your future with light and hope. When you speak my promises over your children, you build an invisible shield of divine protection around their young minds that no darkness can penetrate. When you bless your financial resources instead of cursing your lack, you activate the covenant of increase over your house. Stop looking at your empty hands with resentment and start speaking my abundance over your life. Reframe every obstacle sitting in front of you as a temporary stepping stone toward your royal destiny. The mountain in front of you is waiting for the sound of your command. The enemy knows that if he can control your tongue, he can control the direction of your entire life. He fears the moment when you realize that your voice carries royal weight in the courts of heaven. That is why he continuously feeds your mind with worldly anxiety and endless doubts. He wants you to keep planting weeds in your own vineyard, so you remain trapped in the wilderness forever. But today, I am calling you to step out of that trap and reclaim your divine inheritance. You are no longer an ignorant bystander watching your life collapse in slow motion. You are a trained warrior armed with the living sword of my word. When darkness surrounds your household, do not whisper in fear like the hopeless world does. Stand tall and declare my light into your dark room. Remember that the words you release into the air do not return to you empty. They travel into the spiritual realm to accomplish the exact assignment you give them with your faith. If you speak healing over your broken body, my life-giving power begins to restore your flesh. If you declare peace over your chaotic home, my divine presence settles upon your family like a warm blanket. It is time for you to change the spiritual atmosphere of your environment completely. Stop repeating the bitter stories of your past failures to anyone who will listen. Begin to prophesy your future with bold confidence and holy expectation. Speak to your closed doors and command them to open in my sovereign name. Speak to your dry bones and command them to live again. The sovereign God of the universe stands behind every single word that aligns with his divine will. When your mouth agrees with my heart, heaven releases its full backing behind your voice. You are stepping into a season where your spoken decrees will manifest with extraordinary speed. Prepare your heart and clean your lips, for for your harvest is directly attached to the confession of your faith. Awake to your true royal identity right now, my child. You have spent far too many years walking with your head bowed low in shame. You looked at your earthly circumstances and believed you were a helpless victim of chance. And because you forgot who you truly are in my eyes, you allowed the world to dictate your value and define your future. I need you to understand your royal bloodline today. You are not a spiritual orphan begging for leftovers at the table of this passing world. You are a royal child of the Most High God, redeemed and set apart for a sacred purpose. And the sovereign King of the universe has backed your life with the entire authority of heaven. Look at your hands and listen to the words of your mouth. Your mouth is not just a human tool for everyday speech. Your mouth is the rod of royal authority given to you to establish my kingdom order on this earth. When an earthly king speaks a decree from his throne, the entire realm must move to carry out his royal command. You carry that exact same royal power within your living temple today. When you open your mouth in faith, you release sovereign decrees that bind the works of darkness and unlock the storehouses of heaven. The enemy trembles not when you complain, but when you stand tall in your royal identity and speak my living word with unyielding confidence. For generations, your bloodline has suffered under the heavy weight of financial lack and silent tears. Your ancestors spoke words of limitation because they did not know their true legal rights in my covenant. They passed down patterns of fear and spiritual poverty to your family line. But I have specifically chosen you to be the unique chain breaker for your entire lineage. Your mouth is the sacred key designed to seal your generational inheritance tonight. When you declare my promises over your children, you break the ancient curses that plagued your parents and grandparents. You set a new spiritual boundary over your household that no weapon of the enemy can cross. Your spoken words establish a lasting legacy of abundance for generations to come. You are no longer a victim of a cruel and broken world. You are a royal vessel undergoing a secret preparation in the dark hours of your journey. The very people who cast you out and counted you dead will soon sit and watch the table I prepare for you in plain sight. Your identity is never defined by your temporary empty hands, but by the eternal fullness of my promise. Stop asking for permission from a world that is spiritually blind. You do not need the approval of men to walk in the divine favor I have already written over your life. When I open a door for my royal child, no earthly force can lock it shut against you. Lift up your chin and square your shoulders as you step forward into your sovereign assignment. Think of the authority I have placed upon your tongue. When you speak peace into a chaotic situation, the atmosphere must bow to the royal decree of heaven. When you speak restoration over your finances, the leaking vessels of your past are sealed by my sovereign grace. You are my royal ambassador on this earth, carrying my official seal in your voice. Do not let the enemy trick you into returning to your old identity of lack. You are no longer the exhausted survivor, barely making it through another painful day. You step out of the shadows as an empowered heir of the eternal promise. The royal crown upon your head is real, and the rod of authority in your mouth is ready to shape your reality. The storehouses of heaven are overflowing with the blessings prepared for your name. All of creation is waiting for the sound of a royal heir who knows how to exercise sovereign power on this earth. Open your mouth wide today and let your voice shake the foundations of every limitation in your path. Declare your freedom and take possession of your royal inheritance right now. Every legal claim the enemy held against your family line is completely void today. I have erased the debt of your past and given you a clean slate sealed by royal covenant. When you speak my truth, you speak with the full backing of legions of angels assigned to guard your steps. You are moving from the dry wilderness into your appointed territory of overflow. Hold fast to your confession without wavering for a single moment. Let no word of doubt or bitterness escape your lips as you step into this new season of authority. Your tongue is now a consecrated weapon of light, dedicated to expanding my kingdom and securing your family legacy. Stand firm in your royal identity and watch how heaven moves at the sound of your voice. Listen to me right now with absolute spiritual alertness. A fierce battle is raging over your voice in this exact hour. The enemy knows that if you wake up to your authority, His reign of fear over your family is completely finished. You are standing at the peak of a spiritual confrontation. Therefore, I command every demonic spirit of murmuring and complaining that has tracked your life to be exposed before my holy presence right now. I expose the subtle spirit of poverty that has fed your tongue with endless excuses for years. It entered your home through quiet moments of exhaustion when you felt completely overwhelmed by life. You thought it was just human tiredness, but it was a calculated attack designed to make you speak defeat. It taught you to whisper that you would never have enough and that your sacrifices were useless. And every time you repeated those bitter words, you invited that dark presence to pull up a chair at your kitchen table. Enough is enough. Today, the sovereign God of heaven stands in this room to confront the dark forces that have exploited your weakness. I cut off the legal right that the enemy used to turn your mouth into an instrument of self-destruction. Every dark recording of your past complaints is hereby erased by the precious blood of the eternal covenant. Satan, your authority over this household is legally revoked in this exact second. You foul spirit of heaviness that made this child whisper defeat at midnight, I speak directly to you right now. Release your grip on their mind and get out of their living temple immediately. You spirit of bitterness that turned their prayers into hopeless sighs, your assignment is canceled by the decree of the Most High. You no longer have permission to poison the spiritual atmosphere of this home with your toxic lies. Hear the word of the Lord today, you mountain of financial stagnation. Every single curse that this child spoke over their own bank account in moments of anger is completely broken right now. Every time they said they were always broke or that money slips through their fingers, I command those heavy chains to shatter into dust. The yoke of self-inflicted poverty is shattered from off your shoulders this very minute. I break the power of every negative word spoken over your childhood by those who were supposed to protect you. I break the words of mockery from former friends who told you that you would never amount to anything in this world. I cancel the harsh judgments of corrupt authority figures who declared that you were doomed to repeat the failures of your parents. Their words carry zero weight in the sovereign court of heaven. You are not what they called you in moments of cruelty. You are not defined by the harsh labels that bitter people placed upon your soul. The supreme judge of the universe has overruled every earthly verdict that declared you guilty of permanent failure. Every curse whispered in secret against your bloodline by envious hearts is neutralized by the fire of my divine presence right now. I break every word of sickness and premature death that you spoke over your own physical body when pain overwhelmed your mind. When you said your body was falling apart, you were agreeing with the spirit of infirmity. You allowed fear to dictate your confession. But today I tear up that agreement in the spiritual realm. I command every cell in your body to align with divine health and supernatural strength. The spirit of death must pack its bags and leave your vessel. Look at the altar of your mouth right now. For years, the enemy used your tongue to burn profane incense of anxiety and fear. He used your speech to pollute your spiritual authority. But today I summon the holy coals from the heavenly altar to cleanse your lips completely. Just as I sent my seraphim to touch the lips of Isaiah in his vision, I release my refining fire upon your tongue in this sacred moment. Let the holy fire burn away every trace of sarcastic self-pity that lingers inside your heart. Let the fire consume every habit of gossip and negative judgment that weakened your spiritual authority in past seasons. Let the fire purify your speech until only truth and grace and power flow from your mouth. Your lips are being consecrated today to speak the language of royal victory. The fire of heaven is sweeping through your living room right now. Can you feel the spiritual heat burning away the heavy fog that clouded your vision for months? The toxic residue of years of complaining is being completely washed away by the river of my grace. Your mouth is no longer a graveyard for dead dreams. Your mouth is now a fountain of living waters for your entire family. Rise up, you warrior of light, and take your place at the front lines of this spiritual war. You have cowered in the shadows for far too long, nursing your wounds and waiting for someone else to rescue you. You accepted defeat as your destiny, but I have placed the sword of the Spirit directly into your hands today. Open your mouth wide right now and begin to roar with the holy boldness of the Lion of Judah. Command the spirit of delay to pack its bags and flee from your financial affairs immediately. Speak to the dark clouds of depression that hovered over your household and order them to dissipate into nothingness. Declare that your mind is clear and your heart is anchored in my unshakable peace. When you speak with holy authority, the spiritual realm recognizes the voice of the King inside you. The enemy tried to choke your voice because he knew that your spoken praise carries the power to pull down his strongholds. He threw endless distractions at you to keep your mouth closed during your trials. He wanted you silent and hopeless, but his strategy has failed miserably today. You are waking up from your sleep, and your voice is returning with double the intensity of your past seasons. Your praise is about to shatter the gates of brass. I place a spiritual guard over the door of your lips from this day forward. Every time the enemy attempts to lure you back into complaining, my Holy Spirit will sound an alarm inside your chest. You will recognize the trap instantly. You will catch your negative thoughts before they become spoken words. You will choose to speak my living promises even when your natural eyes see only obstacles and storm clouds. Listen to the sound of breaking chains reverberating throughout the spiritual atmosphere of your home right now. The ancient locks that kept your family bound to poverty and emotional torment are snapping open one by one. The heavy barriers are collapsing. The wall of partition that blocked your prayers from reaching my throne has been completely demolished. You stand under an open heaven where your decrees carry immediate legal weight. You are stepping out of the dark cave of defeat and entering the open field of divine conquest. The land of your inheritance is stretched out before your feet, waiting for you to claim it with your voice. You do not need to fear the giant in the valley. Do not look back at the burnt ruins of your past mistakes. Look forward to the vast territory of overflow that I have prepared specifically for your name. I declare that your mouth is now an altar of continuous thanksgiving and prophetic power. When you speak over your financial seeds, they will multiply beyond human calculation. When you lay hands on your sick children and declare healing, my power will restore their bodies instantly. You are my anointed instrument of deliverance in these final hours, and your voice will carry my fire wherever you go. No weapon formed against your tongue shall ever prosper in the courts of heaven or earth. Every voice that rises against your destiny and judgment shall be completely condemned by your spoken faith. The accusations of the adversary are silenced forever. This is the heritage of my royal servants, and their righteousness is from me. Stand firm in your newfound authority, and never let the enemy silence your victory again. The atmosphere over your house is now completely cleared of demonic clutter and hopeless noise. The peace that passes all human understanding is settling upon your shoulders like a heavy cloak of oil. You are surrounded by my glory. You have passed through the refining fire of the altar, and your vessel is now clean and ready for master use. Walk forward with absolute boldness, for the King himself goes before you to make the crooked places straight. Look at how the darkness retreats before the light of your consecrated confession today. You are no longer fighting for victory, but standing in the victory that was already won for you. Every word you speak from this moment on carries the weight of my heavenly kingdom behind it. Lift up your eyes and see the salvation of the Lord unfolding before your family. The season of silent tears is over, and your era of royal dominion has officially begun. Heavenly Father, I come before your throne right now. My heart is completely surrendered to you. I am tired of pretending to be strong on my own. And as I sit in this quiet space tonight, I lay down every heavy mask I wore to impress a world that never understood my pain. I let my weary soul rest in your love. Lord, I confess my past mistakes. I spoke words of defeat in my dark hours. My heart felt completely overwhelmed by life. I whispered that I was forgotten and that my sacrifices would never yield a harvest while I stared at my problems. My mouth leaked the blessings you prepared for my home. Forgive me for every casual complaint. I used sarcasm to hide my bleeding wounds. Wash my lips with your cleansing blood today. I tear up every invisible contract I signed with lack through my negative speech because I choose to trust your sovereign plan. I surrender my right to complain about my life. Touch my lips with your refining fire right now. Burn away every bitter memory of betrayal. I choose to forgive everyone who hurt me deeply. I release the people who lied about my character or abandoned me in my time of need because your grace covers all my mistakes. My heart is completely free from bitterness. My heart is open to your healing presence. Harsh words spoken over my childhood are losing their power. I am not defined by my past failures. The heavy labels that bitter people placed upon my identity have no power over my future because I am your redeemed royal child. Your love restores my soul today. Lord, I surrender my ego right now. I stop trying to control my future. I place my hand quietly inside yours. When my natural eyes see closed doors, I will declare that your protective hand is shielding my life from every unseen danger. You give me supernatural strength every day. I consecrate my mouth to your service. My tongue will be an altar of thanksgiving. I will no longer speak death over my dreams. My mouth will be a fountain of living water that pours hope into my family while I share your truth with those around me. My first words every morning will honor your name. I speak your blessing over my household. My marriage is anchored in your peace. My children will walk in royal wisdom. I break every generational curse of poverty that tried to follow my bloodline because your covenant secures my family legacy forever. My home is a safe sanctuary of light. Father, I align my speech with your abundance. I speak supernatural increase over my financial seeds. Every mountain of delay in my career must fall. My mouth is a rod of royal authority that opens doors of divine favor while your angels guard every step of my journey. I step into my appointed season of overflow. I yield my mind to your Holy Spirit. Guard the doorway of my lips every day. Teach me to catch my negative thoughts quickly. I refuse to let the frantic noise of this world dilute the pure frequency of my worship when trials come against my soul. I choose to speak your living truth instead. I receive your deep peace into my spirit. The heavy anxiety in my chest is melting away. I hide under the shadow of your wings. My soul is completely still, and my future is secure inside your hands because your love never fails my life. You are my unshakable rock and my refuge. I surrender my health into your caring hands. Every organ in my body aligns with your divine design. Sickness has no legal right in my temple. I speak life and vitality into my bones while I rest peacefully, knowing that your healing power is working inside my body. My strength is renewed like the eagle every morning. I praise you for the miraculous answers on the way. My spiritual eyes see the open heaven above my home. The enemy can no longer steal my joy. I walk boldly into the fullness of my destiny while my mouth continuously releases praise and thanksgiving for all that you have done. My soul belongs to you forever. Thank you for cleansing my vessel today. My mouth is filled with your holy fire. I step forward with joy and unyielding confidence. My words will continuously declare your goodness to everyone I meet as I walk in the royal inheritance you prepared for me. I seal this covenant prayer in your name. Amen. The spiritual atmosphere over your living home is now completely sealed by my sovereign grace. You have consecrated your mouth and surrendered your weary heart before the altar of heaven today. Do not step back into the chaotic noise of this passing world unguarded. You must guard the door of your living temple with holy vigilance from this hour forward. Your soul is anchored inside my light. The enemy waits right outside your door to steal the sacred peace you received in this quiet space. You must establish a concrete physical mark of your spiritual decision before you close your eyes tonight. Press the subscribe button right now and turn on the notification bell as a permanent mark that your household belongs to the light. This sanctuary will serve as your daily anchor against the storms of the world. Leave the numbers 777 or type Amen in the comments below as a physical sign of your submission. When those words leave your fingers, you are not just leaving a message for an algorithm. You are signing a legal covenant in the sovereign courts of heaven that cancels your past curses. Let the spiritual realm record your absolute acceptance of your royal inheritance right now. Share this lifeline with one weary soul who is fighting a silent battle in the dark hours of the night. Be the vehicle of deliverance that my hands use to awaken another royal child who feels completely forgotten by this world. When you pour out my light to others, your own vessel will continuously overflow with my supernatural abundance. Your generosity unlocks new windows of divine favor over your family line. Walk forward from this sacred encounter with your head lifted high as the royal heir of my eternal covenant. My unshakable peace covers your household, and my glory goes before every step you take on this earth. The ancient cycle of silent tears is broken forever, and your season of royal victory has officially begun. Go in my sovereign power and live as the warrior you were born to be. Amen.